Hey guys, it's August 15th, 2017, and I am going to do a update. I am 5 years and about 9 months on testosterone, something like that. And everything is going well. I'm living as Ethan. I'm maturing into Ethan. I am walking the streets and minding my own business and just being male. And I don't worry about how my package sits, and I don't worry about if people look at anything feminine about me. I just don't worry about it anymore. It is a process. We all go through it. I went through it. But there will come a day that you won't have to feel that way anymore. That you'll realize and you'll look back and go, wow, how far I've come. And those of you who still have family members that don't agree with you, love them anyway. Just don't just don't allow them to be in your personal space because you don't deserve that. If you got people making comments all the time, let them go. Still pray for them, still love them, be kind to them, be cordial, but you do not have to let them in your personal space. My mom to this day still once in a while will she me, and it's when I'm around her a lot. It doesn't matter how I sound, it doesn't matter how I look. When she goes to talk about me in a third person manner, she will she me, and then she'll correct herself real quick. So it's not like she's doing it on purpose, but anytime someone misgenders you, it's just a little sad. It makes you think, wow, they just don't see me as that male that I thought they did. But you know what? I can't control that. And so I take it, I say those words to myself, and I let it go because it just will eat at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I am learning a lot of things in my life. Let me tell you, my whole life, not just transitioning, has taken a transition. I was very close to my youngest sister and her three girls. They were been the only one in Bakersfield most of all their lives. I did have a couple nephews that were here, and lost touch with them, but basically raised. I was around them while they were being raised, and a big part of their life. And now they're hitting. All of them are hitting about 30, and they've got their own families. And the cycle has changed. The dynamics of the family's changed. My sister now is more of the grandma. Everyone goes to her house. She has her kids over for dinner. When it used to be great grandma, grandma, and me, and our families, whoever, Tony, anybody, would all get together. Now it's just, them. And it was very hard at first for me because what it's made me realize is that Tony and I, neither of us, have any children. And we really have no one to depend on if something happens to us. So we are really starting to prepare ourselves so that we, have the expense money put back. If I got Alzheimer's, she could put me in a home that was a nice home, because I told her I don't want to be around you watching my life, that I don't even know I had a life, trying to remind me of it all the time. And she needs to move on. And so we've had these kind of talks, and so I'm a real down to earth kind of person. And so that's what's been going on with me, is just growing into the person, dynamics changing in my life, learning how to get through the struggles and the sadness of things. I get my feelings hurt once in a while if I hear people gotten together and we weren't invited. But I also, snatch myself back into reality, and that's the way life is. So my testosterone levels have always been off. For the last year, I was looking back on them. They've been over 500, but along with that has come with about 37 to 39 level of estradiol. Now, this last year, I've put on some weight. I've talked about that due to some stress and frustration in my life. Learning that I was a comfort eater during this stressful time. And I've gained about 20 to almost 30 pounds. And so the fat is all gone to my hips and it's gone to my butt. I'm still down my sizes in my shorts and stuff from the weight I initially lost. but they fill in different areas now. So I'm dealing with that emotionally and getting ourselves back on track with our juicing. And I've always ate live food, but again, I was eating a lot more sugar than I ever have in the last 3 years. So uh, I did it to myself, and what can you do? I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Every time I start feeling down about the fat, I just have to remember that I will get it off. It's a slow process, especially for me, since I am disabled. And so it may take another year just to pull this weight off, but I will. I'm going to get myself in shape, feel good about myself. One thing about being 55 years old and starting transitioning at 50 is that your body is where it is. And yeah, there are some people who can really turn their bodies around. But when a lot of people, they end up with autoimmune diseases and they have diabetes, or they have, like I have Hashimoto's, which is a hypothyroidism, uh, the genetic fallbacks in their family line. So there are reasons why some people hold weight, but a lot of times, and I agree with this, and this is what I changed my life 3 years over, is that it is a mental and emotional more than it is food. And so we have to find the root of all this. And I'm learning so much about myself. I think I'm finding the root. And I am going to incorporate more visualizations because I really believe in them. I've always visualized myself just where I am today, and I've gotten here. And I just always thought it was a dream. It was just something that I wanted to work for, something I wish I could be someday. And here I am. So, anyway, everything else is going good, but I do want to touch on uh, something about, I want to put my 2 cents in about Charlottesville. I really have struggled with this the last couple days. Um, the white supremacy movement has been in the United States. It has never gone away. It's died down, but there still are a lot of young members that truly believe that they come from a high priority uh, kingsmanship race, and it's not that at all. And most of us know that. But when it comes to attacking civil rights of other people, when it comes to judging other people and uh, discriminating against them, and you know causing harm or bullying or trying to intimidate with violence, that's when the line's drawn. Freedom of speech is no longer for people like that. Freedom of speech is to have your silent, quiet protests about something like the tree huggers used to do. Don't tear down the tree. They camped in the tree. Okay, those are good protests. When the pipeline, and look what they did to them. They sprayed them with pepper spray. They got water cannons and sprayed them down. I mean, they didn't even do that to this group in Charlottesville. And it's just sad because they had semi-automatic weapons in their hands. Why would any protest group need to have weapons? It's all an intimidation, bullying. And I'm going to tell you this from my mouth. This is my opinion, and this is the way I've seen it for the last 8 months, is that in 2015, during the presidential campaign, there was more bigotry, bullying, intimidating factors into this campaign, discrimination, um, and yet turned around and befriended the race that they were against, that he is against. He molds into the white supremacy. Those are his buddies. Those are his big multi-billionaire buddies, those CEOs of companies. The white collar, uh, yeah, white collar. Anyway, people that we don't see on the streets. They sit around eating caviar, playing golf, and talk about how much more money they can make and what they have to do to get it, and they don't care. And we're finding in our nation through this hideous I don't even like to call him president because he doesn't deserve the rank. But through his hideous campaign and his administration, a lot of these men are starting to rethink things. They are starting to examine and question their own tendencies. And a lot of people and a lot of companies have come together and pulled away from that type of administration. And so when we don't see the good in things, things are actually happening. Things are actually happening for the better. I cannot believe that we have people in government that would allow this to just happen. There is a bigger picture we're not being told. I've always felt that Donald Trump was a fall guy for Pence, to get Pence in there, because Pence would have never won the presidency with what he did in Indiana as governor with the religious right. So I think there's a bigger picture. I could be wrong, but bottom line is, people, examine yourself. No one has a right to look at someone else and say they are unworthy of the same thing I have. Just because their skin is different, just because they believe different, just because they walk different, just because they love different. It doesn't matter. We all have the same rights. We were all born through the womb or the tummy of a mother. And we're all given the same gift when we take our first breath of life. Humans will always tear down one another. There's always going to be bad, but the good always prevails. So when you're feeling like we felt when Hillary did not win the presidency, everyone was just floored. I felt abandoned. I felt disappointed. I felt, I can't even tell you what I felt. But it was a loss, a huge loss. And look what we're dealing with. But let's take Charlottesville. Let's remember Heather, her life, her legacy. She stood for people like us. She had no issues. She was a white female. White females nowadays, they may not get the same pay, but they pretty much do what they want. So they don't have an issue to stand up and protest. But she stood up for us. Everyone, black, red, yellow, white, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, pansexual, queer, whatever you want to call yourselves. She stood for us. She's one that stood for us. And her legacy will always be remembered as that. So let's take the good out of this. I was angry too. I just wanted to say and do a lot of things on Facebook, and I had to pull away from it because it was not the right thing to do. It was just stirring the pot. I don't want to stir the pot. I don't want to put ingredients into a pot. I want to put the fire out. I want to keep the pot from boiling. And that's what we got to do in this country, and we got to bind together. So when you're feeling so hurt and so disappointed and so felt left alone, don't worry. It's a bigger picture. Get some positive, make some positive of it. Even if you have to talk about it, write it on Facebook that you forgive these people, that you'll pray for them. Whatever you got to do to turn around and put that cross on that negative to make it a positive. That's what I'm doing, guys, and it's hard for me, believe me. I've got family who voted for Donald Trump. He's a fall guy. There's a bigger picture. But hopefully they will drown themselves before anything else happens. And you get your friends and you get your families together. And for you Hispanics out there, you educate your family. You tell them what's going on. Get them to vote if they're able to vote. Get them registered. Get them to vote for the next, in 2 years, in 2018, for our Congress and House representatives. We need to win things back. Have them vote Democratic, because that's the only way we're going to take over this Republican agenda. And anyway, that's my say on it. God bless all of you guys. I feel for you who have been hurt and your families in Charlottesville, and keep on going in our own cities and towns, in our own lives. Just stay true. I'm always here. Write me a line. But take care and take it one day at a time. Know you're worthy. Know you're worthy of it. All right? So, I just forgot what I was going to say. Always make your journey as simple as possible. I'll talk to you later. Bye.